We have a huge Michel-Ange Balikwisha to Celtic transfer update to discuss in today's video. Not only that, we will also go over all the latest Celtic news from the last few hours. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Celtic have confirmed that their League Cup campaign will kick off under the lights on Friday the 15th of August at 7:45 p.m, with Falkirk the visitors to Celtic Park. It's a rare Friday night fixture at Parkhead, and one that will mark the beginning of the Hoops trophy defence in the competition they dramatically won last December. Brendan Rodgers' side lifted the League Cup trophy after a thrilling 3-3 draw against Rangers, eventually prevailing on penalties in a Hampden Classic. The match against Falkirk comes just 2 weeks from now, giving fans a date to circle as the domestic cup action returns in the new season. Falkirk, newly promoted and entering the top flight for the first time in over a decade, will arrive in Glasgow as major underdogs, but they'll be keen to make a statement. Celtic, meanwhile, will look to avoid any early slip-ups and continue their strong record in the tournament. Rodgers and his squad will be determined to retain the League Cup, and it all starts with a winning performance against the Bairns. The fixture timing will catch some supporters off guard, with Friday night games at Celtic Park extremely uncommon, particularly in cup competitions. The scheduling decision may be driven by broadcast considerations or policing logistics, though no official reason has been provided. Regardless, the road to Hampden begins here. Supporters will no doubt remember the drama of last year's final, and they'll be hoping the 2025 edition starts with a comfortable result. Now, for the main story, Michel-Ange Balikwisha looks set to end any lingering speculation over a move to Celtic, with the winger now in advanced talks with a League One club competing in European football. It's been reported that on the 2nd of July, a transfer to Parkhead was looking increasingly unlikely, and it's now all but confirmed that the Belgian international won't be heading to Glasgow this summer. Despite being tracked by Celtic for over a year and linked across multiple windows, no official push was ever made by the club. The 24-year-old attracted interest from several sides across Europe, with Bundesliga clubs Hoffenheim and Borussia Mönchengladbach both monitoring his situation. Championship pair Leeds United and Southampton were also said to be keen, but it's the unnamed French club who have now pulled ahead in the race for his signature. Balikwisha is expected to finalise the move shortly, with the deal believed to be progressing. His next destination will provide him with European football this season, something Celtic could have offered too. Celtic are still short on the wings, with no real rumours swirling. Rodgers will face the press at Lennox Town shortly, and fans will hope that he'll have some news in terms of incomings on top of Simpson Pusey. In other news, Celtic have confirmed a new cooperation agreement with Championship side Ayr United after talks with Queen's Park broke down earlier in the summer. The deal, now in place under new Scottish FA regulations, will allow a select group of Hoops youngsters to gain valuable first-team experience under Scott Brown's watch at Somerset Park. The agreement offers greater flexibility than traditional loan arrangements, with players aged between 16 and 21 eligible to move freely between the two clubs throughout the season. The initial cohort includes Celtic pair Jude Bonner and Kyle Ure, both 19, who have already featured for the Honest Men. A third player is expected to join shortly, Ayr have teased. The cooperation model is aimed at addressing the development gap for emerging talent, offering regular game time in a competitive environment. The SFA initiative allows up to 3 players to be registered with both clubs simultaneously, helping to bridge the transition between youth and senior football. Talks had initially taken place between Celtic and Queen's Park, but the arrangement collapsed due to financial issues at the Glasgow club. Celtic have since turned to Ayr United, with Brown's connection to Parkhead a likely factor in the agreement. One notable exclusion from the partnership is Francis Turley. The Northern Irish midfielder, who has caught the eye with his recent performances, is not eligible under the cooperation framework due to international registration restrictions. He is not available to the Scottish national team. This partnership marks a fresh approach by Celtic in response to calls for better development pathways, giving promising prospects a more structured route into senior football. In other news, at the turn of the year, it seemed inevitable Celtic would make a real play for Motherwell's Lennon Miller when the summer window opened. The midfielder was one of the standout young players in the SPFL last season, and the links to Celtic were concrete. Fast forward to the start of August, with the Scottish Premiership about to kick off and its radio silence from Parkhead. Despite credible reports, including our own sources, confirming Celtic made contact with Motherwell in January, there's been no follow-up this summer, not even a whisper. Back in the winter window, Celtic were quickly rebuffed when they inquired about Miller's availability. Motherwell were in no mood to sell mid-season, especially as Miller was central to everything they were trying to build. That resistance seemed understandable at the time, but also gave the impression Celtic would circle back once the window reopened. They haven't, and now it appears others are taking serious notice. Interest in the young midfielder is ramping up, with clubs in Italy and across Europe reportedly circling. Scots are finding new homes and flourishing abroad. If Brendan Rodgers has decided not to pursue Miller, then that's his prerogative. But it's a curious decision given Celtic's January interest and the club's well-publicised strategy of targeting top Scottish prospects before they explode. At just 18, Miller already looks the real deal. Technically sound, tactically sharp and mature beyond his years, he's exactly the type of player you'd expect Celtic to have in their sights, especially as they look to future-proof the midfield. Instead, the trail has gone cold. With Celtic's transfer business already under scrutiny from some sections of the support, not asking Motherwell the question seems like a poor decision. There's still time left in the window, of course, but as things stand, it looks increasingly likely Lennon Miller's next step will be far from Glasgow's East End. Lastly, Celtic are officially on the clock, with the summer transfer window slamming shut on the 1st of September, just 1 month from today. The club face a stark reality. The squad is not ready. Brendan Rodgers will lead Celtic into a make-or-break period in August, with the team still light in key areas and burdened by players he doesn't want. The manager is currently having to keep hold of fringe players deemed surplus to requirements simply because there's nobody else to take their place. It's an untenable situation at a club preparing for a Champions League playoff and the start of a domestic title defence. The clearest example of the chaos, Marco Tilio. The Australian winger has a move to Rapid Vienna in the works, but the deal is currently on ice. Celtic can't let him go because they haven't yet secured a first-team winger to take his place. It's a damning indictment of how unprepared the club have been this summer. Tilio is, in essence, being held hostage at Lennox Town, not for his ability, but because of the club's lack of options. Rodgers will be desperate to avoid going into massive fixtures with a depleted squad. Champions League playoff games await later this month, and right now Celtic look worryingly short of the depth required to compete on multiple fronts. Even if new signings were to arrive this week, they'd likely be weeks away from full sharpness. It's a scenario that should never have unfolded. The board have known for months that major upgrades were required in key areas. Yet here we are, the 1st of August, with glaring holes in a squad still in flux. The deadline now looms large. 30 days to reshape the team, 30 days to back the manager, 30 days to avoid repeating the mistakes of last summer, where last-minute panic buys and short-term loans became the story. This window was billed as the one to show ambition, to support Rodgers, to build a squad that could compete, not just participate. Instead, we're watching time run down as Celtic stumble into another critical month with uncertainty hanging over key positions. Rodgers may yet get the players he needs, but the delay has already come at a cost. And if the club get it wrong again, the consequences, both financially and on the pitch, could be felt all season. What are your thoughts on these? Let us know down in the comment section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content.